As the person begins to lose the identification with form and dissolves its personal energy into the nothingness, into all that is, there's a profound emptiness, and a lot of people see this emptiness as a little frightening, the collapse of the self or the death of the person. And the emptiness is so void and so infinite that the person who has identified with form up until now sees it as a drastic energetic shift from what he or she is used to identifying with, the self, the person who wants something, has somewhere to be, the person that exists in time. And so the letting go of that energy, which happens as all is happening, as all forms are changing and all forms are moving, there's no will or force that can be used to dissolve the person energy, because I compare it to a finger trap. It's like the mind trying to get rid of the mind. It's not that which is waking up is not the mind. This isn't a process that happens within the mind. This process happens in the void that is nothing. It's the universal energy, the consciousness that wakes up and becomes aware of itself. So it's that space in which all the thoughts and all are happening and all the forms are changing that becomes aware of itself. And the minute that energy begins to identify with all that is, there isn't a person any longer willing or wishing for things to happen. And so profound changes begin to present themselves, even though in a sense nothing truly is changing, because in the emptiness there is just form arising and falling back away. However, the changes can be felt in a sense to the personal energy, because the person becomes so weakened that they don't really have a preference for anything anymore. And it can't really even be called an apathy either, because in apathy there's a deadening. This is a complete and total aliveness. In this energetic shift, everything animate or inanimate becomes one and of itself. So there really is no preference for anything, any place, any person. And that's extremely frightening to the energy that's still trying to hold on and to cling to its identification as a Kate or as a whoever. So essentially, the individual will collapse so completely that the line will blur between fully between what is happening and what the person is, because the person is all that is happening, no matter what is happening. And as unappealing, or as uncomfortable, or as distasteful the appearances or forms can be, the person is still the space in which they're happening, in which those forms are changing and occurring. So this dissolution, it's a really beautiful process, and it's something that is being talked about at this time to assist. Is being talked about at this time so that it can be heard at this time as well. And this message is a message that is not occurring from a Kate. It's occurring from a nothingness. There's an impulse to project this concept, but this concept should immediately be dropped, because all it's doing is it's pointing to nothingness. It's pointing to emptiness. It's pointing to whatever it is that is happening right now, which is completely and fully free. This unboundedness and this energy that's in the birds here, in the water, in me, or the person, the form that is me, is all one thing. There's no difference. There's all just a form arising and falling back down. And so if you are looking for it, you're in a finger trap, because it is always what's happening. It is always whatever is. It is always whatever form is arising is what is. And to try and attain it in a practice or in a concept or in an intellectual understanding of it is to cage what is. To try and even go into this message and figure it out is to cage the freedom of all that is. Doesn't make any sense. But the person will still try to do that and still try to get somewhere and get something, and that's what's happening. But it makes no difference if that's what's happening. You see, because it's all one thing. So, hope this message is useful, and in a sense it doesn't matter if it is or if it's not, but take care.